Hey guys, still working through load, and today I'm working on day 23, and the theme of the page is to create a page that is all you. So like not doing the trends that are out that you don't feel are you and things like that. So one of the things that I do in my scrapbooking is I'm always in search of a deal, and I'm not concerned so much now. Let me preface this by saying that I buy a lot of the new product that comes out, but I'm not so concerned about how old a product is, whether or not I'll use it on my page, or, you know, if today people say, you know, I don't know, like distressing is out or inking is in or anything like that. I don't really pay attention to that. I just scrapbook my pictures in a way that I think works best for me and that I like. And I don't scrapbook in order, so people won't know when I made the layout, or, I mean, in 10 years, unless you're really in tune to the industry, I wouldn't imagine that you know, that people who are looking at my books would know in 10 years, oh wow, that was so outdated when she did it, or something like that. So I don't really pay attention. So in the direction that I'm taking that, I'm going to scrapbook this photo of my niece who just turned 1, and this is the card that her mother sent out. And if you look at the colors in this photo, the black, the teal, the pink, and then you look at this very old Heidi Swapp collection, teals and pinks and blacks, it is like the perfect collection for these pictures. And I can't tell you, I didn't see a copyright date on them. I bought these at Tuesday Morning, and I know I bought them in Tuesday Morning years ago. And they've been sitting here, and let me see if the individual papers have. 2008 is the copyright date on this. So these papers are 5 years old. But when I look at my photo and I look at this paper collection, now you got, in this you have 18 sheets of double-sided paper, and I got it for $4, and it's nice weight cardstock. I mean, it's a normal. Advantis made these, and I mean it's normal weight cardstock, and then it has these, like, I don't know, like, I didn't scrapbook back then, so was this a big thing? Like, I would cut these off obviously, but maybe hidden journaling or something, because there's several papers in her collection that have these, like this one here has these. Now this looks more like a pull apart sheet that just, it's perforated here, so that comes apart, and then it has these tabs, these labels and stuff on it. So anyway, 2008. So in scrapbooking, something that is very much me, I don't pay attention to when things were made, just whether or not they look good. And this collection matches this photo so well that I don't care that it's 6 years old or 5 years old or however old it is. So that's where I'm going to get started. I did pull out a lot of paper, but not a whole lot of embellishment. I was at Michael's yesterday, and they had this spring celebrate it in the ribbon section. They had this burlap, and it's like this teal color, and I love the I don't know if I'm going to use it on this. These photos are a little too formal maybe for burlap, but I just wanted to show you that it is so cool. Like, it's teal burlap, which I think is awesome. Anyway, so I do have that out on my desk. I don't know. I have this piece of paper, and this is another, I know it came out of a stack because it's still got the glue at the top, but I don't know who made it. I'm pretty sure it's DCWV, but it's got these, like, shiny, ooh, ain't that cool? These shiny embossed hearts on it. This is a piece of paper from that Heidi Swapp collection, because the damask on the background here, I thought really would look nice with the damask on this, is what I was kind of thinking. And then there's just some hearts from the Heidi Swapp collection. So I have this paper. I pulled this frame. This was one of the very first things I bought while I was learning to scrapbook. And I bought it mainly to use it as when I first started scrapbooking, using these top notes as part of the page, or the page shape, was this huge thing. Like every sample layout I saw in scrapbook stores or anything like this had like this top note design. And the reason I bought this frame was I spent a lot of time initially when I was first starting out tracing this and then cutting it out to make my scrapbook pages have a top note. I didn't know nothing about die cutting. I didn't know nothing. I didn't know anything about die cutting or anything like that. But I knew that, like, I was seeing this top note design everywhere, and so I looked and looked and looked for die cut papers that were like this. I didn't know the word die cut. I was searching, I remember searching on Google for shaped papers. I didn't know this was a top note design. Like, I had no idea. And so, but I kept seeing this cut out on many scrapbook pages that I was seeing, and I went into a local scrapbook store in Jacksonville, Florida, of all places, and I said, can you show me what is in those samples? It's really cool. And she's like, oh, it's a top note die. It's a die cut paper. Oh, okay, well. But I had bought this and traced it out, and on many of my early layouts cut this out by hand to get that look. So there we go. That's the whole story behind this little frame. And I thought maybe because we're using a very pink white, I could find, and you know, it's glitter, and she's a little girl, and that's cute. I was going to use, I got yesterday in the mail, the My Girl collection from My Mind's Eye, and I thought that I would use this, but the colors are not right, because she's got a lot of black, and this is a very pink, turquoise, and brown collection, so. And I got My Boy, too. I got those. I have this paper by Hamley. Oh, no, this is Teresa Collins. My bad. This is Teresa Collins' Travel Ledger. And it's called Travel Clocks. Let me put it on here so you can see it. And against that, it looks, maybe it is red. I don't know, I feel like sometimes I'm a bit colorblind. But I like the idea of the clocks with the passing of the time. She's a year old already. Where did the time go? Something like that. But looking at this underneath the light, as opposed to over where I keep my papers, this looks very red, so I probably won't be using that. But I do have this. This is Jenny Bolin. This is Red Black Extension 4. And this is called School Dress. And I really just like this flower print, so I thought maybe I have no idea. But I pulled all these papers, and I have my picture, and I have these little flower sequins that I've used before that I'll probably use again, try to get rid of some of those. I have them sitting on my desk. And then we will go from there and see what else we're going to find to play with. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. Hey guys, so right now I'm just going through all the papers to decide exactly on which ones I want to use, and I really wanted to use that top note frame that I talked about in the beginning of the video, but there was no way to get that to work. I just didn't like, I don't know what it is, I don't like it framing the outside of the layout like that now. I'm gonna have to figure out some way to use it or give it away or something, because that just totally doesn't work for me anymore. You're going to see me here. I'm going to try a couple of times, or maybe by this time I've already given up. It's still laying there though. So I'm thinking about what papers I want to use, and I've decided now that I'm going to use those three. I'm going to use this pink heart, this aqua kind of color, and this black and white. What is that? It's black and white polka dot. And I'm going to use those three different patterns to make a mat for the photo. So I'm going to cut the branding strip off of the bottom of this paper, and I don't know why I haven't used this paper yet. It's gorgeous. I really like it. It's old, but I really like it. So here I am. I'm going to lay these three papers down behind the photo. And I like the idea of this as opposed to using like one pattern paper for the background like I normally do. And here I'm just going to cut them all down to size. And then I'm going to go get some black soot distress ink, and I'm going to ink all of the edges of all of these papers. There's a lot of black in the photo of my niece, so I wanted to make sure that all of the papers sort of blended together with that. And just a bit of a warning, you guys probably already know this, but let your distress ink dry before you go about using the papers that you've added to the, or maybe I'm just messy, I have no idea, but I get ink everywhere. So I'm using the black distress ink, it's black soot of course, and I'm just using that, and I'm going through and outlining all of my elements. And doing this all at once really saves some time on the back end. I'm going to go around the outside of the 12 by 12 background paper as well. I probably should have cut some of this out. Oh well. Here's how I ink the edges of the paper. Just like that. Okay, now it's time to get out. Look, there's my ATG gun. My ATG. There's my ATG. I think saying ATG gun is actually redundant. Redundant was one of the first words I learned in SAT prep. And the teacher would always say, and purse your lips, instead of saying, you know, shut up or something like that. Purse your lips. I'm like, okay, woman, we get it. So anyway, so now I'm going to take these die cuts and I'm going to spend a little bit of time figuring out how I want to lay them out to cover up this side of the page. And I really, like I said, I don't know why I don't use this collection more, because I really love these colors. The grays and the blacks and the pinks and the aquas. Very cool colors, especially for this. I mean, that paper couldn't get any more perfect for those pictures of Casey with the black, pink, and aqua in her photo. I think the wall in that photo is a little purple, or the white, maybe the pink in the photo of her is casting some sort of color onto the back wall, but it looks a little purple to me. But I'm just ignoring that. So I'm pulling some of these die cuts out there from Heidi Grace, and I got them at Joann's, I believe. And I'm pulling out a couple of them because I'm realizing that I'm going to need a little bit more. I'm going to need some more layers on this side to cover up, to make it as you know, filled in as I want it. Because again, there won't be a whole lot of journaling on this layout, mostly because, I mean, they're her 1-year-old birthday photos. She has a birthday cake. And there, if you can't see it on the video, but at the bottom of that photo of her, it says Casey's first birthday. So that basically, you know, tells you what you need to know. I don't do a lot of journaling on professional photographs. My sister-in-law sends them to me all the time, and I scrapbook them all. I like having them in the book. They're very cute, but I don't add a lot of journaling to them because they're not events that happen. They're just cute pictures of my nieces or my nephews. They're not really events. So there's not a whole lot of journaling to do. What I say on this one is we've liked watching you grow over the last year, but there's not really, you know, there's not a lot of detail because there's nothing to add to what this, you know, photo says. Now there are times when I'll sometimes use a professional photo, and all I'm doing in the video right now is adhering all of these layers down. But there's sometimes when I'm scrapbooking a certain story and I don't have a photo and it's just about a specific child, that I'll use one of their professional pictures. But otherwise, if it's a professional picture, and what I've been doing now is I scrap these as soon as Kelly sends them to me, so I don't keep them hanging around. Because I will never be caught up in scrapbooking as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I could scrapbook 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and never catch up. But then if I spent all my time doing that, I wouldn't have anything to scrapbook. So it's that conflict between wanting to scrap all the time and actually having a life so you can go out and have something to scrap about. So, you know. I don't know about you guys, but I make plans and I'm like, oh, okay, how am I going to scrapbook that? It's so weird. Or I got a die cut piece a couple of months ago that had a certain event on it. And I was like, oh my goodness, Stu, we have this, I have this, so now we have to go. We have to go do this. And he's like, oh dear goodness. So I added my journaling, and again, it just says something about, you know, it just says something simple about watching her grow. That's a happy birthday stamp from EK Success. It has a bunch of birthday sayings on it, so I used one of them, and then my date stamp to add the date to the layout. And now I'm just going through and looking for some more embellishments that may add something to the layout. And now I'm thinking about what the title is going to be. And I really wanted to say I'm one, like she's saying I'm one. And but I couldn't, like, I'm One. It just seemed a little weird, like as a title for me. So I decided, oh, I'll skip the title and start thinking about it later. I'm going to put these little sequins down. And I used the sequins a couple of weeks ago and said that I wish I hadn't. On this layout, I actually really like them. On the other one, I think I went a little bit overboard. But on this one, I actually like how they add a little bit of shine to the layout. Give it a little bit of dimension. And now I've decided that I'm going to title this I'm One. But I'm looking now, I went over to my thickers to find, because I thought I wanted like a glittery, shiny font. So I went over to my thickers now and I'm looking through them to see about finding a pink that I like. So I brought all the colors that are in the layout over with me to decide on what color I wanted to use for the title. And again, still going through the thicker. Sometimes having too many thickers is a bad thing, because then, you have to make a decision. So I decide on this kind of font here. I think it's called Jewelry Box, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to put I'm One here. But then I feel like it needs something else. Like, so I'm actually going to take and I'm going to say I'm One, but then I'm going to use some smaller stickers to put of a kind. So it'll be I'm One of a kind. And she really is. I mean, she's only a year old, but she has such a personality. Some kids take, I'm around a lot of kids, and some kids take a little while to develop their personality. Not Casey. She knows who she is already. So I'm just putting those letters up there that say one of a kind. And I'm going to take some Tombow Mono multi-glue and actually adhere these chipboard letters down. Because I find sometimes the older the thickers get, the worse the adhesive on those chipboard shapes get. So I definitely always put some more adhesive down. And then after I finish that up, the layout's going to be done. And I'm going to give you a final look at it. There it is. And I thank you guys so much for watching. And let me know if you have any questions down below, and I'll do my best to answer them. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.